Governor Perry's with us now. Hello, Governor. How are you?
Hey, howdy, Mr. Beck. How are you, sir?
Very good. How was your experience at CPAC?
It was awesome. But it always is good to gather around like-minded people, generally speaking. And
generally speaking,
I've got to think it was a little more exciting than or for a guy like me anyway, than what Madonna did with the GLAD meeting, dressed up like a Boy Scout.
That's crazy what's happening in our society.
It really is, and it's fascinating that someone would make that type of gratuitous shot at an organization that has probably done as much to promote young men to the type of values that the vast majority of the people in this country aspire to. I always tell people that when I get to see a lot of resumes, Glenn, people who apply to be on, boards of regents or to head up agencies and commissions. And when I see Eagle Scout, I pull that out and I set it aside because I know something about this individual without ever meeting them, without reading anything else on their resume that is a young man. They made a decision to follow a long and arduous path to reach that Eagle Scout Award, and that if they followed that instruction book, if you will, if they went through that long process at probably between the ages of 10 and 15, 16 years old, that those qualities, that characteristics, those values are still very much alive in that young man who's asking to work for you. And that's the kind of people I want surrounding me. That's the type of individuals I want to be working with, that I'm counting on to take the great state of Texas forward.
I'll tell you, we get a lot of requests for a lot of letters and, everything else. And, I know you're the same way where, people ask you to, write a letter to somebody or whatever. The only thing that we consistently do all the time are the letters for Eagle Scouts. And I sit and I hand sign everything else for every Eagle Scout request that comes in because I think they're amazing.
Well, they are. They're special, and they just, by and large, the type of young man that you want to be working with, the type of young man you'd like to have knocking on the door to take your daughter out. You know something about them, and by and large, they're very, very good, solid citizens.
Okay, we have a whole bunch of things that I just want to kind of check off with you. We haven't had a chance to talk in a while, and there's a lot of concerning things that are happening, and I just wanted to know where you stood on things and what you're doing that maybe the other states could possibly model or join with. The things that really concern me are finance, guns, and education. Those are really right on the front burner. And let's take these one by one. You stood up against Common Core here, which is deadly to the Republic. And then we happen to get a backdoor thing called C-Scope. But could you explain a little bit about why these things are so insidious and what people need to understand? Because it seems to me it is a backdoor to cut off all rights to parents and to states on anything to have to do with education.
Well, it is. It's a great concern that we've seen this effort to bypass oversight by the commission, Michael Williams, commissioner, the legislature for that matter, because the legislature is a microcosm of this state. This is a conservative state, and I absolutely agree with Education Chairman Patrick and TEA Commissioner Williams, and that we need to ensure that there is appropriate transparency, quality control, oversight of the C-Scope. And State Board of Education and these education service centers, curriculums, all need to be very transparent. And so there's an audit process that has formally begun, and I think...
Well, we have currently the administration is fighting, we just talked about this yesterday, they're fighting this family from Germany. They're evangelical Christians. They're normal. They just want to homeschool. Nazi Germany put in a law you can't homeschool. That's one Nazi law that they left on the books. And so they were going to take their children. So they came over here to the United States, did it the right way, applied for political asylum. If they go back, the state will take their children. And this administration after winning it in court, the first court, after winning the fact that they could be here for political asylum, the administration took them back and said, no, people do not have the right to homeschool. I'm really concerned with the fact that
not in the state of Texas. Let me tell you, that won't stand in the state of Texas. As a matter of fact, if there's a state that is stronger from the standpoint of supporting parents' individual rights to homeschool their children than Texas, I don't know which state that is.
I would agree with you on that.
I tell children on a regular basis, Glenn, when I see them, when I find out that they're homeschooled, and I say there is not a greater display of your parents' love than that they have chosen to homeschool you. You know, it's not right for everyone. There are a lot of folks who can't, and the public schools and private schools and parochial schools that are out there, but there's just something special about a parent who is willing to give up a lot of time to homeschool their children. I mean, it's just, to me, one of the greatest displays of love in our country.
Let me switch gears here a little bit. What happened in Cyprus over the weekend, where they are now just taking 7 to 10% of the savings, and it's really to send a message that that is not your money.
All right.
I want to talk to you a little bit because you have to know, and I know you've been boning up for several years now on economics, and you're smart enough to figure out what's coming. What's happening over in Europe will eventually come here if we don't turn the page, and it may come anyway. How does a state protect to make sure that the people's money in their banks never fall under this? They just can't seize your money, or in a state's case, that they just don't take the money from the state. Do we have our gold back here, for instance?
Right. Well, you and I have talked about this before. I mean, I have always said that the first unwinding of the global economy is going to be the failure of a foreign sovereign, whether it was Greek or whether it was Italy or whether it was Japan or, in this case, Crete. Those are the first. That's the canaries in the coal mine, if you will. That this leveraging and over leveraging of loaning money and gold certificates, I will suggest to you, that are nothing more than a piece of paper, that may be just about what they're worth. I mean, if you don't have physical gold, it's one of the reasons that we were in the process in Texas of bringing gold that belongs to the state of Texas back into the state.
Is that happening? Is that happening?
We're in the the conversation with the legislature mode at this particular point in time, because it costs 8 basis points for somebody to store it somewhere else. Well, you know what? I'm pretty sure that in the state of Texas there are places that are substantially secure, just as secure as they are in a warehouse in New York City.
I'll tell you, they're in Mexico, they're going to turn down. They've already turned down Germany at the Federal Reserve, and it's all because of rehypothecation. When people understand what rehypothecation really means, the game is up, and I'd be surprised if Texas is allowed to get their gold back.
Well, if we own it, I would suggest to you that that's not someone else's determination whether we can take possession.
All right, so then
then
this is a very good transition. And I know you didn't mean it this way, but I'm going to take it that way because it makes me feel better. There is currently, a serious and perhaps the biggest and most serious attempt to do this since Reconstruction, and when they tried to grab the guns from African American and freedmen. There is a serious attack on guns, and you can't buy ammo, you can't buy guns, and what's going to happen if Colorado passes it and it starts to move in that way, and the president just says, you know what, it's moving that way, and that's where we're going.
Well, I think this gets right back to the conversation and the strong argument that we've made for the last couple of years relative to the 10th Amendment, and that our founding fathers understood clearly that there are enumerated powers in our Constitution. It lays them out. It clearly articulates what the federal government is to be involved with, and the 10th Amendment clearly says that if it is not enumerated, if these powers are not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, then they are reserved for the states or to the people, and that goes right to the heart of a substantial number of these arguments. Now, Second Amendment, whole other issue there, but I can assure you that states that restrict the ownership of certain types of weapons or certain types of devices that go on those weapons, like high-capacity magazines, for instance. The Colorado governor is soon to sign legislation outlawing those. They will be welcome in the state of Texas. Magpul, I can assure you, has already been contacted by the state of Texas, inviting them to move their operation here, that they not only will be free to manufacture, but they will be welcomed wholeheartedly, and look forward to allowing those employees to keep more of what they work for, so that they won't be overtaxed as well as overregulated in a state like Colorado.
I've only got about a minute left, and I have to ask you this question because there's a story on The Blaze that I haven't even had the chance to. I've avoided reading it because it talks about the changing demographics and what the progressives are doing in the state of Texas. They're trying to change us into Colorado now. They're doing exactly the same thing here. And meanwhile, you're out in California, and I appreciate you're coming out and you're looking for new companies to relocate. But have you thought about making the states, or your mantra, come for the freedom, not for the jobs?
Well, actually, great mantra, but here's what we're recruiting. We're recruiting people that truly believe in freedom. If they're takers, if they want government to take care of them from cradle to the grave, they're going to stay in California. They're going to stay in states with these rich programs that they take other people's money and then redistribute it. The people that are coming here are people who still believe in the basis for America, that the freedom from overtaxation and freedom from overregulation, freedom from over litigation, it truly is.
But look what happened to
come for the freedom. But the takers are not coming.
Well, look what happened to Colorado, though.
But you know what? Colorado had, I will suggest to you, too many programs that lured too many people that want government taking care of them, rather than believing in the free market system and allowing people the freedom to fail as well as the freedom to succeed.
Governor Perry, we're glad that we can be in the great state of Texas, and
we're glad you're here, and we're glad you like our overpasses.
I like more than the overpass. Thanks very much, Governor. I appreciate it.
Godspeed, brother.
All right, bye-bye.
Do love the overpasses.
Yeah, they're nice.
Love everything
Come to
about
Texas for the overpass.
A lot of times they have a Texas star on them. It's
they
good.
do. Come for the freedom, though. Yeah, get the hell out if you're coming for
Stay for the jobs. Come for the freedom.
Yeah, stay for the jobs. All right.